I was checking with my watch and I wasn't sure. Our clock behind is usually off up there just a little bit. The first thing on our agenda is approval of the agenda. I will mention first that Commissioner Hersey is on vacation and not here today. And Commissioner Garrett is actually in London, England, and I believe we're going to try to connect him up. We're calling and we're trying to get him online, and so that's taking place as we speak. But we do have a quorum, three commissioners. Again, the first thing is to approve the agenda, and I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that we, in the zoning public hearing, combine 7, 8, 9, and 10.
And see, do we need a second for that, Mr.?
I would do 7, 8, and 9, but 10's a different zoning.
Okay, 7, 8, 9, excuse me, thank you.
Okay, you want to combine 7, 8, and 9. Now, do I need a second to that? No second. We'll just approve that, and then 10 will stand on its own. Very good. Do I hear a motion to, go ahead and make it in a form of motion?
Yes, that's my motion, sir.
To approve the agenda with the combination and zoning public hearing of 7, 8, and 9. Is there a second to that?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question and ask you to vote electronically.
How do you vote, sir?
Aye.
We've got one aye. I hear from Commissioner Garrett, and mine, I won't need to vote. So we have voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The agenda is approved with changing the zoning hearing to combine 7, 8, and 9 into one. Very happy today to have our invocation Pastor Joe Ezra, and he's from the Smithsboro Baptist Church. Joe, if you could come and deliver our invocation.
If you would join me in prayer. Most kind and gracious God of heaven, Father, we thank you, God, for the love, the mercy, and the grace you've extended to us through your precious Son. God, we thank you for this time of year that we celebrate his precious birth. And God, I pray tonight, Father, that everything that's said and done here will be done to bring honor and glory to his precious name. Father, I pray you'd put a hedge of protection about our commissioners, our citizens, God, our community, our country, and this world. God, we pray tonight that, Father, that everything that's said and done, God, would be done under direct leadership of the Holy Spirit of God. And I pray, Father, tonight that you would touch each and every person that's here tonight. Father, I thank you for the opportunity, dear God, to call out to you in public, in a public meeting. And God, I know that our government rests upon your shoulders. And I pray, God, tonight that you would do a mighty work in the hearts of each and every person that's gathered here. Father, I pray every decision would be made in accordance with your will, not ours, but thine be done. Father, again, we want to thank you again for your precious Son, for the blood that was shed on Calvary. And God, we pray that you'd minister to every need and every heart and every thought. Father, I pray you'd be with those that are battling throughout these holidays, and God, for the ones that have lost loved ones, and God, other things going on in their lives. Father, we pray that you just let us have a wonderful time this year, remembering what Jesus did for all of us on that cross at Calvary. God, we thank you. We love you. We praise you. And God, we give you all the glory and honor in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. And thank you very much, and appreciate you being here. Next on the agenda is the pledge. If everyone would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I do have Commissioner Garrett on the phone here. And let's see, Lynn, can you hear us, Commissioner Garrett?
I can hear you pretty well, thank you.
Very good. I need to see if I can fix my microphone so the audience can hear you too. The next item, item number 5, is a very special presentation. I'm always excited about that. And the The presentation is a proclamation to the Putnam County Middle School War Eagles football champions. Do we have those folks here? Paul, is there anybody here?
Folks in the back.
The coach, please come forward. And let's see, well, will you read the proclamation?
Sure, I'll do it.
Gentlemen, let's go down front, guys.
Whereas the 2025 Putnam County Middle School War Eagles football team, led by Alexander Banks, Titus Dunn, Cameron Harper, Cameron Griffin, Luke Lawson, Brad Snowden, and Rufus Daniels, has a membership of 39 players: Riley Coleman, Daniel Pickett, Jacasey Farmer, Jordan Taylor, Kajuan Williams, Derek Evans, Amari Rollins, Peyton Oliver, Anthony Jimenez, Aiden Reese, Tommy Hardy, DeXavius Penniman, Kenneth Musgrove, Rylan Jones, Cayenne Farley, Kason Dennis, Landon Ownby, Zaylen Clemens, Jamarian Butts, Aiden Hatfield, Orion Abrams, Carson Thurman, Javian Jones, Brentley McKenzie, and Bison Smith. And whereas the Putnam County Middle School War Eagles football team has competed in the Georgia Middle School Athletic League Championship held in Eatonton, Georgia on October 1st, 2025, and had an overall record of 7 wins and 0 losses, defeating Henderson Middle School of Jackson, Georgia, to win the 2025 MSAL Championship. And whereas the citizens of Putnam County are proud of the team's performance and the way in which they represented our county, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Putnam County Board of Commissioners does hereby commend and congratulate the 2025 Putnam County Middle School War Eagles football team for their outstanding achievement, proclaimed the 16th day of December 2025. Chairman Sharp, Commissioner McElhaney, Commissioner Garrett, Commissioner Hershey, Commissioner Wooten.
Give him a hand. Those things are always fun, and the next on the agenda is the zoning public hearing, and let's see, do we have anybody that signed in or anything? Oh, I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. Under the zoning public hearing, we have 2 folks that are signed in. First is Ross Monday. Ross? You're not going to speak till we get to number 7.
Oh, you're number 6 first.
Okay, so I'm on number 6. Is anybody's?
No, we don't have any number 6.
I'm making sure that I'm not missing anybody. Yes. Deb LaRoche is signed in for number 6. She signed in for number 6 on the white sheet. That's why I was looking at all 3 sign-in sheets. So, Deb, please come forward. Go ahead.
We have a lot on Anchor Point. We've had a lake house for the last 18 years, and we're moving down here full-time, and so we have a lot. It doesn't really have enough storage. It doesn't have a basement. It doesn't have an attic. And so we have a lot across the street that's 7 acres, but it's majority under a power line. And we were wanting to put a building without having a primary resident on it. So we were trying to get a conditional use for that. So it would be a multi-purpose barn. It's going to have a workshop and storage and just for other purposes. So, and it's going to be built by, right now we're looking at Southeast Metal. You guys have a copy of what it's going to look like.
Okay, that's in our package.
So it's going to be professionally done. It's going to look nice.
Okay, you can reserve the rest of the time if you'd like, in case there's any rebuttal or any questions.
Okay.
So that's good. You can go ahead and have a seat.
Okay.
that's the only one signed in, so the number 6 is a request by Stephen and Deborah DeRoche. Am I saying that right? And it's for conditional use at 297 Anchor Point Drive, presently zoned R2, map 053, parcel 033 in District 4. Let's see, District 4, let's see, let me take just a moment to clear all the paperwork here. I am missing something. Staff recommendation.
Staff recommendation is for approval of a conditional use for a multi-use barn with storage at 297 Anchor Point Drive, presently zoned R2, map 053, parcel 033, District 4, with the following conditions. Map 053, parcel 033 shall not be subdivided. 2, accessory structures allowed on the property shall be limited to 1 40 by 60 multi-use barn with storage and shall be sited in accordance with applicable development regulations.
Okay, before we have questions, so let's get it on. Any motion, District 4, do you have a motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to approve the request by Stephen and Deborah DeLaRoche for conditional use at 297 Anchor Point Drive, presently zoned R2, map 053, parcel 033 in my district, District 4.
Hold on, let's get a second before we discuss.
Oh, okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Do I need to do the conditions?
Oh, you
presented?
have to say the
Okay.
conditions.
With the condition presented by the planning and zoning. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. The motion on the floor is to approve a request by Stephen and Deborah DeRoche for a conditional use at 297 Anchor Point Drive, presently zoned R2, map 053, parcel 033, District 4, with the conditions that are shown on the screen. Is there discussion?
Yes,
Go
sir.
now, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with this, this piece of land, this power line, like Mr. LaRoche said. It's mostly up under a power line. It's probably an easement that it can be used for nothing else but this. We've done it previously, the same neighborhood. It's going to be the same as it was last time. Those lots are very narrow lots right there. I would say probably not even 100, maybe 100, maybe pushing 100 foot wide. There's no place for storage, and they were fortunate enough to get a place across the road, buy that across the road, and that's one reason I would love to see this approved. Thank you.
You have anything? Any other discussion, any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the question and we'll ask for the vote. Again, the motion on the floor is to approve the request by Stephen and Deborah DeRoche for a conditional use at 297 Anchor Point Drive, presently R2, map 053, parcel 033 in District 4, with the conditions. Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Okay, Commissioner Garrett voted aye, and there we go. And Commissioner Wooten?
Yes, sir.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The motion carries. Your request is granted. Moving on, thank you. Moving along now to 7, 8, and 9, which has been combined, and I will read those. But first we have 2 folks signed in. Ross Monday is first. Ross, you have 10 minutes, I believe, the way this goes. And you're talking about 7, 8, and 9.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Happy holidays. I didn't get the memo on a sweater. I definitely could have dug one up. My partner does have a glove on. Show him your glove. Oh, he took it off. All right. So 7, 8, and 9 combined with number 10 because it's a multi-purpose development. 7, 8, and 9 are the RPUD. If you could scroll one, please, ma'am. I'm sorry, I sent it as a PDF. We're looking to build a assisted living facility with some rental cottages that'll be managed by the assisted living facility. As you can see, there's only a couple of these facilities available in the area, the Glen and Harbor at Harmony Crossing, and they're pretty much full. And so we've seen a need that I think was identified 15 years ago by Loyal White, did a commissioned a study of how many beds we needed in this area, and I don't think we've gotten to that number. And so Harmony Village is an opportunity to provide a need for the area. If you could scroll down one, let me show you the site plan. So as you can see, the 5.99 acres, which is number 10 in this, is going to be the C1 zoning, and that's for a 100,000 square foot assisted living facility. We haven't confirmed if it's going to be one building or multiple buildings, but it'll all be architecturally synced up. And if you can scroll down, keep going, please. Keep going. That's boring. Keep going. So you can see, and these are the cottages, and they'll all be single-family dwellings, and it'll be an a la carte living style where you can get food service, you can get laundry service, medical, associated with the assisted living facility. The RPUD, we're only at 2.17 units an acre, which is the very low end of that as far as density goes, because we know that's an issue. And with this type of development being 55 and older, I think we're going to minimally impact traffic for Harmony Road and zero impact to the schools. I'll reserve my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Gray. Charles?
Good evening. I thought I was going to speak after or before the applicant. So I'm going to talk about items 6 through 10 because 10 is part of the whole project.
7 through 10.
So okay. 7 through 10, I'm sorry. I've got the zoning packet up and it's 6 through 9 there. This was submitted prior to the moratorium, so that's why it's going through the pipe the way it is now being heard. The applicant stated that he is ready to start this project. There's not going to be a delay. He wants to move forward. The applicant stated when asked, other jurisdictions conditioned his projects to build to their conceptual plan, and he's agreed to build this project to the conceptual plan. And our attorney has confirmed that you can condition that. Staff recommendation also included conditions, if approved. Planning and Zoning Commission approved with some conditions. If you're attending, we're leaning toward approving this project. I suggest that you also include the original staff recommendations and the conditions from the staff and also the conditions from the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think you're in a little conundrum here to make this decision. So you have to weigh the facts and the issue. Is this project needed and good for this community? Or can it be kicked down the road until you get your moratorium issues related to zoning and planning and overlay districts and take the chance that the developer loses his funding and the project goes away? So that's the conundrum you're at with the decision you have to make tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. no one else has signed in to speak to 7 through 9, and we've combined those. I'm going to try to get those on the floor, but I'll get that, and then we'll get a staff recommendation. Item 7, request by Ross Monday, agent for Bradley Ashurst, to rezone 30 acres on Harmony Road from Ag AG to R PUD. That's map 097, parcel 033001, District 1. I-8 is request by Ross Monday, agent for Joaquin Cordona and Erwin Marshall, to rezone 1.01 acres at 826 Harmony Road from AG to R PUD, map 097, parcel 035, District 1. And then item 9 is a request by Ross Monday, agent for Tempe and Davis Sharp, to rezone 26.32 acres at 820 Harmony Road from Ag to R PUD, map 097, part of parcel 033 in District 1. I'll ask for a staff recommendation now.
Staff previously recommended that the item be tabled until there is completion of the arterial corridor assessment and an adoption of overlay districts. Upon further review, staff recommendation is for denial. However, at the December 4th Planning and Zoning meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commissioners recommended for approval to rezone items 7, 8, and 9 from AG to R PUD with the conditions that map 097 parcel 035 must be combined with the adjacent parcels identified as map 097 parcel 033 001, map 097, part of parcel 033, and cannot be used or sold as a standalone parcel. And also, the development shall substantially comply with the submitted conceptual plan.
Okay, I will call for, thank you. I'll call for a motion on items 7 through 9.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table items 7, 8, and 9 until the February 17th, 2026 meeting.
Does it require a second? Okay, I'll call for, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table items 7 through 9 until the second meeting
In February.
in February.
That would be February 17th. Is that right?
That'll be February 17th. Is there discussion?
Yes. So let me first say I absolutely have no problem with the project, but as everyone knows, we're in the middle of a moratorium. And there's a lot of questions and things that we've got and a lot of decisions we have to make on what these things look like. That being said, there would probably be some conditions. I've heard planning and zoning conditions that they want, and I think there's some other ones that are probably needed as well. And I think Commissioner Garrett probably has some things he'd like to talk about, as well as Commissioner Hersey. So I just think it would be in our best interest and the county's best interest if we were to table this until we can all take a look at it and put some conditions in place that would probably be in line with what we're going to recommend for future development.
Any other comments? Commissioner Garrett, can you hear us?
I can, yes. So, Mr. Chairman, just a question for Commissioner McElhaney. I understand the rationale for tabling, and it sounds like even though this application precedes the moratorium, its significance, and as you say, I think it's a welcome project, but its significance, scale, impact is such that your feeling is that it would make sense to align where possible, accepting that we're not quite sure where we're going to end up. We're in transition, but you see it as appropriate to hold this given the timing.
Correct.
Plus, I appreciate your interest in. I mean, I'm doing my best to follow along, but certainly Commissioner Hersey is not present.
Other, did you need to, are we good, Commissioner Garrett?
Yeah, I think I heard Commissioner McElhaney agree with what I interpreted as his rationale.
That's correct.
Very good. Other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question, and the motion is to table items 7 through 9 until our second meeting in February. Vote electronically. How do you vote, Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. Items 7, 8, and 9 are tabled until the second meeting in February. Moving now to item number 10. Ross Monday, you have time to reserve here.
I defer to the earlier statements I made. Item number 10 is the 5.99 acres that's going to be from ag to C1, but it's part of the larger site plan. Thanks.
Thank you. Staff recommendation.
Staff previously recommended that the item be tabled until there is completion of the arterial corridor assessment and an adoption of overlay districts. Upon further review, staff's recommendation is for denial. However, at the December 4th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval to rezone the 5.99 acres at 826 Harmony Road from AG to C1, map 097, part of parcel 033, District 1, without conditions.
Okay, I have a motion on item number 10. It's a request by Ross Mundy, agent for Tempe and Davis Sharp, no kin to me, to rezone 5.99 acres at 826 Harmony Road from AG to C1, map 097, part of parcel 033, District 1.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to move that we table this item until the February 17th, 2026 meeting as well.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
Yeah, so since we had the recommendation from Planning and Zoning to make this contingent on one or the other, I just think it's in the best interest that we do this as well.
Other discussion?
I agree with Commissioner McElhaney.
Hearing none, we'll call for the question. And the motion, I'm sorry, Commissioner Garrett, I didn't hear you if you.
No comment from me.
Okay, very good. Sometimes I don't always hear from the phone. We're running your phone through the microphone. So we'll call for the question and we'll ask you to vote electronically. Commissioner Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The motion is tabled until the second meeting in February. That will conclude our zoning public hearing, and we'll move along to our regular meeting. And the first item on the regular meeting is the public comments. And I have the list here, several people. So I'll start out with Jennifer Ray.
I shocked myself, apparently, this boots. I don't know. Anyways, good evening, commissioners. Tonight I'm here, I want to address a crisis of accountability at the Putnam Development Authority under Executive Director Matt Pointer. My concerns are based on his own written admissions and his active obstruction of public information. The Executive Director has admitted in writing to multiple financial improprieties, and I will read his statements directly. When we noticed the numbers weren't adding up, these were the comments that came back. The charges for Global Media were coded improperly and should be coded to IT. They will be moved to the correct account during the current audit. The high school payment was paid out of our capital account and should not be coded to marketing. Again, it'll be corrected. The charges were more than the PDA card would safely carry, and we reimbursed Titan for those costs. Now, just for the record, those Titan costs that were reimbursed to Titan paid for their expenses and they reimbursed Titan, it was just over $1,000. I mean, in college, I had a credit card. Like 20 years ago, that was a $1,000 limit. So that's kind of hard to understand. But the PDA reimbursements to himself were for an event that was held at Great Waters with a pier in Macon, and Macon paid half the total amount and the PDA covered the other half. These are not simple errors. This is repeated fundamental misuse and mischaracterization of public funds. The executive director, who also is paid over $100,000 a year in taxpayer funds, is dedicating his time to running his own company, James Wesley Designs. Taxpayer Watchdog received several reports confirming this outside business, and a simple Google search of James Wesley Designs shows that he is the person that owns that business. This is definitely a apparent conflict of interest and explains his obstruction, because when I requested actual receipts to how to understand all these admitted errors, he's holding them hostage for a $25 fee on a prior receipt. I offered to go pay him that day, and he claimed that his prior commitments, he was not in the office. I said, well, I'll pay you by credit card. He would not be willing to accept a credit card. I was told I had to mail a check. So I'm still waiting on these records, and this delay in providing public records is absolutely unacceptable, especially considering all these issues. Also, the obstruction is compounded by evidence of document manufacturing. I'll remind you that Aaron Olson's public comments during the last meeting, I was on those emails. I saw firsthand Matt Pointer provided invoices that were created one day after the open records request, and they were from months earlier. They're from the spring, and that was just done this month. So they were manufactured invoices. Admitted accounting mismanagement, obstruction, and blocking of legal access to records, and document manufacturing. At a minimum, in the business world, these actions unequivocally would be grounds for immediate termination. So I am very interested to see how this whole thing goes, but I want to make sure that we address it. And I will hold my CPACE comments for that conversation. Thanks.
Next on the list is Aaron Olson. Aaron?
I submitted to you for your review the work session minutes for the Putnam County Development Authority, where they approved the contract for Titan Pictures. Also a copy of that contract that they didn't provide until shortly after the last BOC meeting. And it's pretty clear why they held it. It has similar video and social media deliverables I provided in the last meeting, but as a refresher, it requires a brand vision film, 2 or 3 minutes long, 6-part FAQs based on Google search trends, 4 short films, Instagram, direct posting by the Titan team, Facebook content, and we know that the social media hasn't been updated. The contract was for an 18-month term with a down payment of $7,500 and 18 monthly payments of $4,775 for a total of $93,000. The problem is the contract was never signed. The PDA bylaws state that the chairman, Walt Rocker, is responsible for signing all contracts. According to what I can find, the PDA was required to execute the contract for it to be valid. Another problem is the contract was not renewed and expired in April of 2023, but the PDA continued to pay Titan $4,775 a month, which is over $246,000 with no contract. I did an open records request to the PDA for all permits in the city or with Putnam County for media and films. They came back with no responsive records. I did an open records request to Putnam County for all permits, which they responded with 1 permit, a YouTube video at Oconee Springs Park called A Day in the Lake. I can't find that YouTube anywhere. I also included an invoice that was one of the reasons the general ledger didn't balance for the advertising account. It was invoiced for 5 golf swag kits with the PDA logo charging $1,097. It was billed to the Putnam Development Authority, shipped to Walt Rocker on June 20th, but the invoice was paid by Titan Pictures on June 26, 2025. Why is a third-party vendor with no contractual relationship paying PDA invoices? Matt Pointer, director of the PDA, said because the PDA credit card could not safely handle the charge. So they reimbursed Titan the next day by check. Why didn't they send the check to the vendor? Commissioners, the taxpayers of Putnam County have been paying $10,000 per month to the PDA. We need to stop paying them immediately and ask for our money back. We need accountability. Thank you.
Next on the list is Charles Gray. And I'm just going down the list.
That's fine. Good evening again. I want to talk briefly on data centers. Social media is starting to light up. I know you've been hearing comments about the negative and positive points of data centers, and it's building and building, so it's coming and it's coming quick. We know data centers are coming. We don't know where they're going to be at this point, but I think it's imperative, and I know you've already started some of these procedures to put ordinances together for data centers, get them in the zoning ordinances, get them in the building codes. Do all the research you can. Reach out to other communities and counties who are considering or have already done or have already banned data centers and talk to them and see what they have to say. Get the information together because social media is putting a lot of negative talk out about data centers, including commenting on some counties that are banning data centers. This is going to be the next bomb to hit you guys, like short-term rentals 3 years ago, and on and on and on. The Lynn Resort, they just keep coming. So work now, get the information together, get your ducks in a row, so when the time comes, you can make a decision on what's the best for the county overall. Is a data center bad for the county? Your research will indicate that. Is it good for the county? We know that the tax dollars could impact the millage rate dramatically. So it's a trade-off there. You guys are going to have to make the decisions, but load your guns.
Next on the list is Barb Vargo. Barb?
First, I want to say thank you for the great article the News Messenger put in about our changes to the ordinance number 11 for chapter 2 and ordinance number chapter 2. He did a great job of bringing that up to the public. Very well said. Thank you. Second of all, just for you guys to know, the word procrastination really becomes a pain in the hind end when we look at the year coming up and our 250th anniversary. We have said something once, but we've only got 6 months to put something together. I've had a lot of people who would really like, besides having a parade and vendors, to have fireworks. So, this is something we've all got to really think about and get started on. It's not, it's not even 6 months away. We're going to have to worry about that. And at this point, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Next is Bill Vargo. Bill? Should let Lynn hand them out.
Ready? Okay. I guess we pile on the PDA tonight. I didn't realize there was going to be so many comments about it, but I got to agree with what the two women in front of me stated. I want to talk about some of the code of ethics, being as we don't have a conflict of interest ordinance in our county. We do have, this is the code of ethics for the PDA. This has come right from their page. It's the most recent one I can find. I really want to speak about a couple of different numbers on this that stand out. One is number 6 that Ms. Olson just spoke about, the Titan paying some bills that our Matt Pointer didn't have enough money left on his credit card to get it, and so Titan paid it somehow or another. PDA paid him back. To me, that's a loan, and I don't know what else you could call it. Number 7, actually, you could go down and look through these things and see some of the things that they've done that you all know of already that we've discussed in the past. And one other big thing is number 8, never engage in conduct which is unbecoming to a member or which constitutes a breach of public trust. Public trust involves you guys, us, the Board of Education. You all voted twice against that tax abatement, and that you stood pretty clearly on that. The Board of Education wrote a letter to the editor opposing it. I'm sure you all seen it. You all got a copy of the Board of Education being in resistance of this. Yet they're still trying to put this thing together behind everybody's back. So as far as I'm concerned and the people I've talked to, that pretty much constitutes a breach of public trust, don't you think? I mean, here we are talking about bringing them down and putting them back up, and I think this pretty much covers every one of them because they all voted unanimously for it. So I would like to see something become of this December 22nd meeting you have with them, and more than just a set down talk. I'd like to see something firmly done one way or the other, where you can get these people reeled back in line. They've got more power than you do when it comes to spending the taxpayers' money at this point in time, and that shouldn't be allowed. They're not voted in, they're appointed. You can unappoint them, and that might be a start, is unappoint a few of these people that aren't following these rules. It's gotten so bad that the chairman is publicly at the last meeting threatened to sue people over their comments. I've got it on the recording. If you want to hear it, I'll show it to you. I'll let you listen to it. So, that we don't need that. We don't need that in this point in time.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Next on the list is Billy Webster.
Chairman, Commissioners, staff, I had not intended to make any public comments until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I got an email from the Municode that said a new meeting document has been published in Putnam County at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And this is I signed up to get the latest, so don't get me wrong, I'm pleased to get it. But our packet tonight contains 548 pages. What was the change that was made at 3 o'clock this afternoon? Did I have to review all 548 pages to find it? Now, I understand that's the way the system worked, and I've talked to the clerk, and I understand that there's no existing way to identify the changes, which I'm pleased to get. But you guys have got a $30 million budget. Can't you all give the clerk a little bit of that so she can research and maybe find a way to identify changes in the packet? Because it's really frustrating when we get something at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a 6 o'clock meeting, and we've got to review 548 pages to try to figure out what the change was. Thank you, gentlemen.
And the last one on the list is George Kelichek. I saw him come in late. George.
Let me do that. I need to walk you more than you do.
In front of you is the final report of the Senate Study Committee on making Georgia #1 state in tourism. I had the opportunity to tour the state with this Senate Study Committee, and there were 4 locations, and then we had our final summary meeting just recently at the Gold Dome. So I know that tourism is certainly valuable to Putnam County, and I wanted to make sure that you all had that information. And if you need electronic copies, I can get them to you also. But just a couple of items. There are several states that have state agency budgets for tourism. For example, Arkansas, $327.4 million. Tennessee, $147 million. Georgia, $11.8 million. So the senators came together and toured the state so we can get a better posture on our tourism throughout the great state of Georgia. Number 2, on the PDA, I attended the meeting a couple of weeks ago with the Vargos. And, you know, in counties around the state, they have a public relations department, and the public relations department has expertise in putting together videos and items that will draw citizens to the county. So it's my understanding that you all do have a public relations department. Utilize that expertise instead of paying an outside vendor. Number 3, the World Cup will be here June of 2026. You know, 1 million people watch the Super Bowl. 1 billion people watch the World Cup. I'm not sure where Putnam County is postured, but I can say Atlanta, as far as rooms and hotels and Airbnbs, is sold out. And finally, on data centers, I'll send you information. In Henrico County, Virginia, the legislators have decided to take $1 billion of income off the top from their data centers in that county and are providing it to a trust fund to provide workforce housing affordability. So a $400,000 house would be about $270,000. And I'll send you that information. Data centers are here. We need to look at what we can do to exercise our rights for that area. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. And that will conclude all of the public comments that folks have signed up. So we will move along. Next on the agenda is item number 12, the consent agenda. Today, the consent agenda consists of approval of minutes for December 5th, the regular meeting, and approval of 2026 alcohol license. And I believe there are 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 5, I'm sorry. And those are 3 renewals and 2 new ones. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Richard, any comments?
Mr. Chairman, in the version of the packet I'm looking at, and mine may be a little out of date, I'm only seeing 2. So is that in fact the late edition that Mr. Webster was querying?
I think that's correct. I will read them so you have them. Horacio Welch for the Robert P. Lounge LLC on Glenwood Springs Road. That's a new one. David Hudson, Bogey Free Enterprise LLC at the Mellow Mushroom. That's 105 Harmony Crossing. Kamilish, and I'm Dengsinghana. Devan LLC, Food Mart. That's 271 Scuffleboro Road. Gary Soffin at Lake Oconee Bistro, and that is renewal. All those last three are renewal. And the other new one is Hiram Patel, 406 P Ridge Road LLC. It's the KC Food Market at 406 P Ridge Road. And those are the four licenses.
Thank you. And is there a reason why the other four were omitted from the other version of the packet?
I can't answer that question other than the things didn't get all signed or didn't get in.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yeah.
got the final approval from fire and sheriff yesterday, so I added them to the packet today.
So if you didn't hear that, the fire chief had not approved two of them.
And the sheriff.
And the sheriff. The fire chief and the sheriff did not approve until yesterday, but they are approved by both the fire chief and the sheriff. And that was
So
the
they were waiting in
delay.
the wings for those approvals, and those just came in under the wire.
Right, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the electronic vote. And what we're voting for is approval of the consent agenda. Commissioner Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The consent agenda is approved. Item number 13 is authorization for the chairman to sign a resolution for increasing the defined contribution limits. Now, before that, we have one person signed in to speak on that, Barb Vargo. Barb?
Okay, I understand why you want to do this. We got to do something for your employees. It's not going to help with keeping people here. We're going to have to find something better than this contribution. Only because you get the younger generation, they don't care. First of all, say you have an emergency and you'd like to take money out of your contribution, and you're going to get told, if you take it out, you have to quit the county and you are no longer allowed to come back. You cannot. You're going to sign a piece of paper saying you won't work for the county again. With my experience, I realized I never even realized, knew this was going to happen. So I'm thinking we got to be, you used to have a pension plan, and that kept people here. I know it was hard. I know all about that. But I do not think, and yes, you're going, whether you sign it or not, you're going to have to think there's got to be a better way or something that we can do for the employees besides this, because it ain't going to work. I mean, this is just like gambling. The stock market goes up, the stock market goes down. I know in my experience, I had at one point $12,000 in it, and then the stock market went right to the bottom, and there was only 6 in it. So you see this happening as you walk, and it's just, people walk away from these contributions anymore. Everybody's got them, they're just not working. Just for your information, you're going to have to find something else too. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. That's the only one signed up for this particular item. I'll ask Paul to explain the authorization to sign this resolution and increasing the defined contribution limits, and then he'll answer any questions. Paul?
Yes, sir. So you have the resolution in front of you, and it is going to increase the match to 4%. And that's the short answer. And the reason we're doing it is we've seen significant turnover in the last 2 years whereby younger employees had forfeited their county match 2 years ago to the tune of about 17 or 19,000, and then last year it was more significant, it was 37,000. So what we're looking at is to try to use the $37,000 that was basically forfeited and try to estimate what we have about 125, 7 employees, if about 75% of the people would take that 1% match, that would use that $37,000 that we captured back, and also put us more in line with what we're seeing in the surrounding jurisdictions. Mr. Geese spoke last meeting and showed us at the bottom of the list of what our neighbors are contributing to the pension or to the defined contribution program, and what amount of income replacement that meant for the employees. And for us to be at the bottom is never good. And by doing this, hopefully we can stop that curve and then evaluate it further or next year and see if it stops the hemorrhaging of young employees. I hate the fact that we train them in that 0 to 5 year window before they get vested, and then some of them are willing to move on and forfeit the county match. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, gentlemen? Commissioner
Mr.
Garrett?
Paul, you may have mentioned this previously, but this would be to grow the match from what to 4%?
From 2 to 4. 3 to 4, I'm sorry. From 3% to 4%. It's raising it 1%.
Okay, and would that put us more in the middle of the pack versus other counties?
No, sir, we'll be tied for last.
We're still tied for last, in case you couldn't hear that.
Yeah, no, I did hear that. Okay, and the reason we don't want to jump higher is because we would need to do some additional analysis of cost-benefit analysis, essentially.
I've estimated on using what we had received that was returned from the employees that left. I didn't want to try to incur any more debt without having some better knowledge. This is very much just a guesstimate, because I don't know how many employees are going to take it out of the 100 plus that we have in this program that are eligible for the full match. So yes, I would like to increase it next budget cycle. I want to see how many folks I lose in the next 7 months. To give me some sort of handle on why they're leaving and forfeiting this money.
Okay, so we'll see what the impact of this proves, and then potentially revisit it next budget cycle.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion if there's no more questions.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
A second?
Second.
The motion on the floor is to authorize the chairman to sign a resolution for increasing the defined contribution limit and moving it up to 4%. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner.
Paul, if now in the next budget session, if you find out, what would be your recommendation then, moving up instead of being tied for dead last, trying to get in front of somebody?
I'd love to be in the middle.
That's what I'm thinking.
But to be fair, Greene County has an income replacement strategy of over 80%, which is an unworkable number for us. I'm not necessarily concerned about them as a direct competitor for employees, and the reason is the medical insurance contributions that any employee other than an employee only has to make is very significant, and we can typically capture those employees back once they need medical insurance. An employee only will go to work $5 or so an hour more, however, but when they get on the medical insurance, it's several $100s per pay period, and that's when we'll try to get them back. But Baldwin is a pretty good pipeline, whether it's Milledgeville or Baldwin, of employees we tend to attract. So,
Well, I think we're very fortunate with the insurance that we got here with the county. That's my opinion is some very good insurance after paying independent insurance, individual insurance all my life, and this is a good insurance policy. If we can add to it by doing this, what we're fixing to do, that'll even add to the attraction, I think.
and I will tell you, over my career here, you have heard me talk about smoothing in gains and losses. I don't want to take wild swings at increasing or lowering something. I would rather manage it in smooth and steady and know what's coming. Excuse me.
Please hold it down.
and then try to figure out what the trend looks like, what the numbers look like before we make that change.
I appreciate you.
Other questions, other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. Motion on the floor is to authorize the chairman to sign a resolution for increasing the defined contribution limits from 3% to 4%. Vote electronically, please. Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The motion carries, and I'll be more than happy to sign that. Moving along to item number 14. This is authorization for chairman to sign the resolution for accumulated credit burn. Paul, can you explain that, please?
Yes, sir. So what this means in English is that we have accumulated significant gains on the books for our pension program that has been closed. And when that happens, and it's going to happen this year, the market's up significantly, so I would expect more accumulated credits next year. But for the purposes of this resolution, we are going to take roughly $500,000 and pay down some of the liabilities that we have received over the years. When the stock market goes up or down, the actuaries basically estimate 7% growth in the equity market, 7% growth in the bond market. Usually one of those two areas sees either significant growth and the other one not so much, or the bond market's up a lot as the interest rates are up and the equity's down. So what that does over time is we have corresponding asset gains and liability issues as well. So what this attempts to do is we pay down the unfunded liability with that $500,000 that is sitting in an account. We make a contribution every year. They have what's called a required contribution and a recommended contribution. We pay the recommended contribution, which puts our pension program in a very beneficial state. Last year, we were funded at 100.2%. This year, we're funded at 100.5%. So this just helps me keep a handle on the liabilities so the pension does not get upside down. And the money is in the pension plan. We're going to use the applicable credits to lower our unfunded liability. Unfunded liability, when I first got here in 2010, was more or less $3 million. With the recession and everything, COVID and everything else, our unfunded liability jumped to $6 million, in excess of $6 million. And now we will be just under 4. So that's what I live for. So sorry about that. It's boring stuff.
Not boring. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion, and it's authorization of chairman to sign the resolution for accumulated credit burn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Garrett?
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask the county manager to speak to the 4 million number? So is our goal to continue to whittle that down through resolutions like this to essentially get it to 0, or am I misunderstanding the goal?
No, I'd love to get it to 0, but and the way this happens is actuaries do what's called an assumption change when, say, the mortality tables change. Several years ago, we went through I'll call it a reconciling of each county was more or less a standalone pension plan when we used to be able to group all the counties in throughout the state. By us going basically as a small subset of the whole, we're now responsible for public safety employees and non-public safety employees, both which have different actuarial assumptions. So with us paying this down over time, I would like to get to 0, but we're carrying some assumption changes that are probably 10 or 15 years old, and we probably have another 10 or 15 years left to deal with them. So what this does for us is we should clear the liabilities off our sheet going back to 2020. And if you recall what happened in 2020, we had COVID in 22 and 3. We had the Great Recession in 8, 9, and 10. We saw some hits from that. We're still dealing with some of the, I'll call them golden oldies, but this puts us in great shape, and this is one of the reasons we got rated a AA2 from Moody's. Their last statement in the most recent credit rating said we have a manageable pension liability, and this just helps me keep that. I don't want to get too far underwater. I'm happy at 100, and we're incrementally picking off wins and losses. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is just the equity market is quite high at 48,000, but the gain in the market over these past 12 months is about 11%. So I'm assuming that we're going to have a big gain for next year's valuation report that will be smoothed in over the next 5 years too. So it's just trying to actively get a handle on what we're doing with the pension liability and trying to minimize the risk. When Dr. Hershey closed this plan down in 2012, I would have expected payments of about in excess of $1 million for several years, and that number is now under 800,000, thanks to the work this board's done to help drive that number down at every opportunity, and freeing up that kind of cash and getting our unfunded liability down to a manageable number puts us in good shape with the rating agencies too. So.
Okay, thank you.
Other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question and ask you to vote. The vote is to authorize the chairman to sign a resolution for accumulated credit burn. Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The motion carries, and I'll be more than happy to sign. Next on the agenda is item 15, approval of the 2026 LMEG, that's local maintenance project list. And we have one person signed in, Billy Webster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If y'all remember, I sent y'all an email a few days ago. Since I got no response, I'm assuming you didn't see it or didn't care. So let me repeat some of it just for the live streaming audience and for my own personal feelings of that I'm actually getting a message across. But I want to talk about the 4th District Scuffleboro paving. I'm pretty sure that Scuffleboro was paved in the fairly recent time frame. A number of us went out and drove the road this weekend, and we couldn't find any major need to have it repaved, particularly considering how many other roads in District 4 are in dire need of repaving. I can almost assure you that there are roads that are in much, much worse shape, including parts of Twin Bridges Road, which is now subjected to a lot of heavy truck traffic going in and out of Intra 4. Another point I wanted to make is normally it seems like when a road is a boundary between districts, we share the cost. If you'll recall, Scuffleboro Road is the boundary between Districts 2, 3, and 4. But all the costs are allocated against District 4. My question is, if you're going to do Scuffleboro Road, which I highly recommend you don't, why don't you at least half the cost between Districts 2 and 3? Why does all of the cost have to be allocated against District 4 if it's a shared road? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Paul, can you explain the LMEG project list? Then just show the list, and they're on there.
So, yes, sir. The good news is essentially most of District 2 will be finished when Crooked Creek is repaved. To clarify a point as to why Scuffleboro was picked, I drove the road too and I saw chunks of asphalt in the road. I also noticed that there was a logging operation back there, and That road's not in good shape. So Commissioner Wooten's road list had several roads in and around Napier, and that road was selected because I could either lengthen it or shorten it, depending on how the bids came in, and try to get the number to match up with where we are with the funds we were going to receive and the match that we're required to make. So if I needed to shorten the road by 1/10 of a mile or lengthen it by 1/10 of a mile, that was fine. That road worked. And Commissioner Wooten, to his credit, said you can pick Napier or Scuffleboro, and he had most of the Napier roads on his T-Splosh 3 list. I selected that, not the commissioner. He asked me to pick which one. So feel free to turn your anger and wrath at me. I made the call. I stand by the call. There is logging back there by that church, and I saw the chunks of asphalt in the road. So that's what made up my mind. That's all I have, sir.
Hey, the LMEG projects are shown, Reed Drive, Spring Road, and Scuffleboro, and the amount. Can I have a motion to approve the 2026 LMEG project list?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the 2026 LMEG project list as presented. Any discussion, further discussion? Commissioner Garrett?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I just want to make sure I understood correctly. I mean, Mr. Webster is right that Scuffleboro Road, about a quarter of the length of this road, I think on one side, or half the length of the road, but only one side of the road is in District 2, and another quarter is in District 3. But is convention to allocate the dollars to the district in which the majority of the road sits, or is there precedent for dividing it somehow?
Typically, everybody would split the road, but Commissioner Wooten was willing to get it done, so that's how it got done.
Okay, so if I heard correctly, between Commissioner Wooten and the county manager, for the reasons stated, Scuffleboro Road was considered the priority. Because do I understand correctly that, I think this is true, because this is LMEG dollars matching with county dollars versus T+3, which still would depend on a citizen referendum, this repaving will happen before any T+3 repaving, which is dependent on a positive referendum.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay, thank
And you can see the numbers, right, on your computer?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, very good. Other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question and vote electronically. We're voting to approve the 2026 LMEG project list. Commissioner Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. The LMEG list is approved. Item number 16, we have 3 people signed in, and this is discussion and possible action regarding the CPACE resolution. Billy Webster, Terry Lawler is first, and Billy, you're second.
Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, my name is Terry Lawler, and I live at 1040 Mid-Massey Road in Greensboro, Georgia. I am chairman of the Joint Development Authority between Greene and Putnam counties for the Lake Oconee area. I am also the chairman of the Downtown Development Authority, and Mr. Nelson is our attorney there too, so I get to see a lot of him. I am also the past president of the Greene County Chamber of Commerce, and I presently represent Greene County at the Northeast Georgia Regional Commission as the private sector representative. I come here today not talking about any specific project, but talking about something that I hope you all will endorse as well as we plan to endorse in Greene County, and that is providing another mechanism for funding development within the county. I'm not up here to endorse any project, not up here to endorse any bank or anything else, but I do want to make it pretty clear that with the passage of this resolution, there is no tax money involved at all. And that's one of the benefits that why the legislature passed this legislation. Unlike some other development authority programs, you all decide where the zoning is and what can be developed. A bank will decide whether or not to invest in the particular property. If the property is developed, then the developer will continue to pay property taxes along, so there's no abatement or anything. So the impact on the county financially is zero, other than the positive side of developments actually taking place. We have not taken it up yet in Greene County. We only meet once a month, and so we won't be able to take this up until January. But I just want to let you all know that we met as the Joint Development Authority, 3 members from Greene County, 3 members from Putnam County, and we voted unanimously to ask you and encourage you all to vote in support of this when this resolution, which is before you today, comes up. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Next on the list, Billy Webster. Billy?
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I'm not really sure what to say about this because the 25 or 30 pages of the resolution only was put into the packet yesterday at about 2 o'clock. And I haven't had a chance to read it. It looks like it's something that only Adam could have generated. I certainly couldn't follow all of it. But let me just say this. This is one of the fastest projects that y'all have ever done in this county. From the meeting that y'all had in Greene County to now has been literally weeks. And I haven't seen y'all move that fast in forever. Anyway, take that as a good omen on your part that you're actually doing something in a speedy sort of way. I look forward to what this actually winds up being looked at. But I can't cover all of the issues because I haven't had time to review it. And I'm wondering if y'all have had time to review it. There's a lot of nuances to this, and I'm of the opinion, based on what I'm hearing, that there's some goodness in this. But if it's not done correctly, there could be some hidden things. So with only 3 commissioners here really having a chance to review this, you can ask Commissioner Garrett if he's had a chance to review the resolution, which I understand is probably boilerplate, but it's like 30 pages long, and I couldn't even begin to tell you what I have questions about. So I think, going back to the zoning matter, I think this needs to be postponed, or if you will, until you can have all 5 commissioners here. You can review this in detail and let the public also review it to make sure that we understand what's going on and we have no problem with it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Jennifer Ray.
Okay, I ran out of time on my last thing. So regarding the C-PACE, and again, it might be good, it may not be, but I must remind you that Commissioner Hersey expressed reservations about it. And again, I think it's very complicated. It's something that you need to really look into. And as you're looking at the C-PACE on the agenda this evening, I want to remind you we have one development authority that is absolutely failing miserably at oversight, clearly out of control, and already demonstrating financial chaos at a minimum. So I urge you not to rush into anything tonight and set up parameters to avoid additional financial mishaps, because there is financial impacts that could happen, like if they default on loans and different things. And then when you're dealing with 2 different counties with the development authority, and then you're working on the C-PACE that would be between, obviously, Lake Oconee, which is the 2 different counties. We need robust guardrails in place before a resolution is approved. And I understand the item may still move forward tonight, but I implore you to slow down. Do not compound our current oversight failures with a rushed decision on a new, complicated financial mechanism. I guarantee if every one of you got handed a test here, if we had an expert in here to hand you a test, I bet you would not pass it. There's not a doubt in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is all that is signed in to speak on 16. 16 is discussion and possible action regarding the CPACE resolution. Paul, would you like to begin the discussion? And
Well, our first speaker hit the nail on the head pretty well. It is a funding mechanism for developers that eliminates the tax credit issue as a funding mechanism for development. This would supplant that, and instead of having the taxpayers on the hook, this would put the private market in charge of what's going on. In response to the one question regarding defaulting on this note, the county does not lose their first position to take that. The only thing that happens at the county level is the tax commissioner would send a second bill for the amount of that credit to, he would get that payment into his office. So he would be a party to this agreement as well. He would get paid for his time and trouble for doing that, or the county would get paid for their time and trouble in doing that. And with that, I'll defer to if Adam want to give the legal part of this.
Members, I will reference what former Chairman Webster said. It is relatively complicated, but with respect to the documents that you have, this is step one. The actual baked product that comes in would require a lot more review. So essentially what this document is allowing the CPACER program to be an option for the county, but there is no specific project within the resolution that you passed tonight. In other words, you are inviting qualified projects to file applications or come back before you. CPACER is a relatively new program. It does intend to, at least based on what the legislator laid out, to create a financing structure that does not risk taxpayer funds by using the taxability of jurisdictions to secure loans. The specific resolution you have before you would be an activation of that program, but it doesn't allow any specific project. That would have to come back. In other words, they'd have to have a fully formed, baked financing agreement before it came back to this body, for which you would then have to approve. The document itself, the resolution is only a few pages. The heft of the document comes from the boilerplate standard that you would establish for intergovernmental agreements and for the documents you would use to secure the note. Those would have to be amended and changed, but those are just the forms that you would be telling anybody, if you're interested in this program, these are the documents you have to fill out to come to us. So really the bulk of the substance is in just the first couple pages. Obviously, today, this is step one. Anybody who would want to actually be a part of the CPACER program would have to come back to you with all the terms of the loan, the project itself, everything else that you'd have to put in place in order for you to convince you and Greene County to move forward. So I realize there's a little bit of confusion with respect to what's actually happening, that there is no specific project before you. All you're doing is saying that if you're interested in this program, you could now move forward. Again, I'll repeat this. If there is a project that comes, a qualified project, we'll have an awful lot of review to do, because these are relatively complicated, and it would have to include a ton more documents than you have before you. But this current proposal is just the first step. And if anybody in the county, because this is the joint development authority, it would also include projects that were in Greene County as well. Doing this would allow anybody who thinks they have access to these funds or wants to make the application for this proposed project, they would now be able to do so.
I believe this Georgia CPACER legislation was House Bill 206.
Yeah,
I believe.
This project, this whole entire act is only, I think we're in the first or second year. So there probably aren't many examples in Georgia. And again, I would suggest a couple of things. If I was a commissioner and you adopted this resolution, my expectation would be when someone comes to make this proposal, not only do they convince you, but they also convince the public of the project. and you'd have an opportunity to hold up to see if the numbers make sense. Is what they're asking for actually going to finance the project? But again, I will suggest that this type of program is a little different than the other ones I've seen previously. It does appear to keep a taxpayer from ever having to pay for it. It purports to only be between the finance institution that provides the funding and the owner of the property.
And I'll point out that each commissioner has spent time on the program, and at least 2 commissioners, including myself, attended the meeting over in Greene County where it was presented. To me, this is a tool in a toolbox. It don't cost the taxpayer a penny. Let's see, where are we? I'll try to get this on the floor. Is there a motion to go ahead and I'm trying to remember the action. This is the resolution here. And it's authorizing the chairman to sign a resolution saying to move forward with the CPACE resolution. This is a resolution. And that would be the action. Do I hear a motion? Get it on, then we can discuss it.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now, is there a discussion?
I just want to, this is the first step of probably many. What we are basically doing is saying that we are interested, and everything coming after this will have to come back before us again. And like you said, you'll probably come back before the board, and then we will present it to the public. Is that right? So what we're going to do tonight is just saying that we are interested and no more.
By no means am I an expert in CPACER, but it appears that the legislator intended to provide better security for people who loan money. Normally, if you loan money, the hope is the project moves forward, but if it doesn't, sometimes the people who've lended that money took a risk, and they either get their money back or they try to collect to some security if it all falls apart. What the legislator is doing is saying, we will allow the counties or the cities where these projects are done to pledge their taxing authority in support of this proposed improvement, but that the taxes power is the only thing that you're giving. You're not actually giving taxpayer money. You're just saying that we will tax more on that property, because tax liability is a little different than loan liability. So if you go get a car note, you don't pay your car, they can come repo the car, but that process is limited to the car. Tax liability that the county or a city has, is a much more powerful way of getting something from somebody. So that's what this program is. Because the legislator understands the power in that request, or that power that comes with taxing, they're requiring that we sign off on projects. I think that's why you'll have plenty of opportunity if someone has a qualified project. They've got to convince you to lend that power to the deal. Okay. So yes, sir, I believe you'll have, and like I said, the discretion lies with this body. So if there's a project that you as a body don't believe makes sense, you'd certainly be within your discretion to approve or not approve. My suggestion is that you'll leave that to the developer to support the idea of you using the program. That's on them to convince a majority of the board to move there.
Other discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Garrett.
So I had a similar question to Commissioner Wooten, so I just want to make sure I understand correctly. So unlike, say, with our current PDA, that does have notionally the ability to proceed with a project without the assent of the taxpaying authorities, CPACE is structured in such a way, and I accept there's no taxpayer money involved, so it's different. But nonetheless, even though there's no taxpayer dollars involved, we nonetheless, as a taxing authority, do have ultimately some sort of veto as to whether a project under CPACE proceeds. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's a newer bill, and the legislator drafted the law in that way. So I know there's been a lot of questions raised about when we approve bonds and when we don't. But in this specific device, we would play a role in the approval.
Play a role meaning we would notionally have a veto over a project we thought was not a good fit for the
Yes, sir.
Okay. And am I right that therefore for the Lake County Development Authority to proceed, does the other taxing authority in the county, the school board, and even the city of Eatonton also need to approve this for it to be enacted?
I'm not sure I understand. The
No, Commissioner, I'll have to look at that. I've only looked at it from the perspective of the county, but I can check with that. If you'd asked me cold what you did, I would say that it's just us, but I can confirm that.
Okay, I think that'd be helpful to know. And I will say, because I was looking at an earlier version of the packet, I did not see this resolution. I was curious why there was nothing appended to the agenda item. I haven't had a chance to read it. I mean, I do understand what's being said. This is not really committing us to anything other than the possibility of a developer approaching the Lake County Development Authority and the Board of Commissioners with a potential project that CPACE might be a good fit for. There's no taxpayer money involved. So I understand that distinction. So I don't, but equally, I don't like to vote on something that I haven't read, and I confess I haven't read it beyond a very cursory skim. Once I realized it was in, now I have the updated packet, but I didn't have it until it was raised just now.
Other discussion?
Yeah, so I actually had a lot of the similar questions, and Adam, you cleared a lot of it up for me, but I just want to be very clear that it does not involve taxpayer dollars and does not lock us into anything.
The taxpayers,
as far as that goes.
according to the way that the legislator drafted the program, the taxpayers would never be on the hook. It all falls to the private companies that give the loan. It's just that loan would be paid back through the taxing authority. And it would also, that's in an excess of the assessed value of the property. So we, the county, still get the assessment as we would normally. It's the extra over.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none, I will call for the question. And the motion is to approve, and I think I have to sign the resolution. Is that correct? For the chairman to sign the CPACE resolution, and that is just saying that we're not approving any project at this point. Everybody understand the motion? Vote electronically. Commissioner Garrett.
Nay.
Okay, and I have to vote it. He said nay. And my computer has died. It's not doing it. I guess I'd unplugged it and it went off. Voting is complete. Chairman and District 1 and District 4 vote yay. The Commissioner Garrett nay, but the motion carries. Moving along, item number 17. And let me make sure somebody hadn't signed in. No one signed in to talk about 17. This is a discussion and possible action regarding the Chamber of Commerce contract for 2026. Paul?
Yes, sir. So you have the contract in front of you. Last year, you reduced the amount. The sentiment of the board at that time was to implement a graduated rate to lower that. Pick a number.
I thought we voted to do what the state recommended. It was 58.42. I believe that was it. Well, anyway, that's what that reads just like we had voted to do. Can I have a motion and then we can discuss it? The motion would be to approve the Chamber of Commerce contract for 2026.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this was a point of a lot of discussion the last time, and I do recall graduating that down, and I was in favor of that. Commissioner Hershey was also very much in favor of that as well. And I think we definitely need to do that. I think it needs to be a little bit lower than 58%, maybe around 55 as we go down. We were at 60. Did we go to 60 last time? So I think, in my opinion, it deserves a little deeper dive than 58.
Commissioner?
I agree with Commissioner McElhaney. 55%, 55 would be a gracious amount because we did say that we were going to graduate it down a little bit, not throw such a big burden all of a sudden. So I'm with him on that.
So,
Mr. Chairman?
yes, Commissioner. Commissioner Garrett.
Okay, I've been trying to get my head around this, and the attorney kindly answered some of my questions. So let me just see if I have this right. So our rationale for potentially reducing the share that goes to the chamber, which is in the code, state code, the designated marketing organization, focused on essentially tourism promotion, marketing, as one of the two types of tourism-related activity that counties are able to spend these hotel motel tax dollars on. And my understanding is that the other way that we can spend these dollars is this tourism product development. And my understanding is that we've never asked the chamber through our contract with them to do any tourism product development. We, the county, have devoted some of these dollars to tourism product development ourselves. Is that accurate?
Commissioner, I believe that's correct. Presently, under the 8-cent hotel motel tax that we impose in the county, a minimum of 3.5 pennies has to be spent on tourism, convention, and trade shows. That comes out to roughly 43.75%. The county has previously allocated, that is what is required for us to spend through the DMO. It appears presently, but prior to, actually even in the current year and the previous years, the county has made additional funding to TCT that comes out of our general fund portion, which amounts to around 3 cents. So we are above what the state requires us to do with respect to funding the DMO. The other item that has to be funded is tourism product development. That's not contemplated in the contract with the chamber. We, the county, are allocating those funds. And that amount has to be a minimum of 1.5 pennies. So presently, we fund the chamber in excess of our statutory requirement, but remember, that's a floor, not a ceiling. So as long as you fund the TPD and a minimum of 3.5 pennies to the DMO, the rest of it goes either to the general fund or however else you designate it.
Thank you. And then what to date has the county spent money on when it comes to tourism product development?
So we've advertised in, James Magazine. Over the past, I think we've purchased billboards in and around Augusta National Advertising, Oconee Springs Park. We've done some trade shows with the Edgewater group, so different things like that.
But again, correct me if I'm wrong, but would those not fall under tourism promotion rather than tourism product development? Isn't tourism product development a capital expense?
I couldn't hear what
You want to know if tourism was under capital expense. Tourism development, is that under capital expense?
I'd have to check with Linda, but I don't think that's capital. That's not a capital purchase or project.
Commissioner, this is Adam. I think we could do an analysis of whether or not our expenditures fall under the state code, because there is a provision of state law that lays out what tourism product development is. This time last year, we had a conversation among the commissioners about how we spend those funds. It may be time to revisit to determine whether or not that allocation has been met. But that's not this contract deals with the TCT, not the TPD. But I could work with Paul and give a report back to the board to see what expenditures we made, whether or not we're in compliance.
Right, because the implication, as I understand it, is if we do lower the portion going to the chamber, that implies that we're going to do something different with those funds. And I think it would be helpful to be clear what we might do differently, or what we might devote more dollars to that we're already doing.
I have a question. If we were to go to 55-45, would that meet with the state?
So the 55 covers, as long as it's higher than, you think I could do math at this point, 43.75%. As long as you're higher than that number, then you're satisfying what the statute requires us to spend for trade,
And
TCT, it's getting late, TCT. As long as you are over 43.75%, you've satisfied our requirement under state law. So 55 would. Now remember, to Commissioner Garrett's point, you still have to spend 1.5 pennies on TPD.
Right.
The remainder is general fund. You can allocate it however you choose.
The trade product development, it's a TPD, so that.
TPD is tourism product development.
I mean, it's tourism.
That's not covered in this contract. It's a separate issue, but it is one that we obviously need to review.
Okay. So, gentlemen, go ahead, Commissioner Garrett.
So yes, again, I reiterate, it seems to me that if we do want to lower the portion going to the chamber, to TCT, that presumes that we know what we would do instead with the dollars, unless, and our intention is either to increase the allocation to the general fund up to the maximum allowed under state law, or to increase the amount devoted to TCP. And it sounds like we're a little hazy on quite what would fall under TCP, in terms of what we're doing versus the list in the state statute. So I would propose an alternative. Well, I would propose that we table this until the attorney can provide us with some clarity as to what current activities do fall under TCP in terms of past spending. And then if we were to lower the chamber threshold, not only what would we lower it to, but why? What would we be spending that additional money on? I think that's essential for us to, and I know Commissioner Hussey had at least last year, had a certain point of view about that. I don't know what he thinks now, but I'm sure he'd have an opinion. So I would propose that we table this to our, if the attorney thinks this is reasonable in terms of gathering the additional information, table it to our January meeting.
Is that enough time to go and do the analysis?
Well, whether or not an expenditure meets the TPD requirements, that's something we could do relatively quickly. But again, just to be clear, that your spending for the tourism product development is not a part of the contract before you. This contract just handles the TCT portion of your requirement.
No, I understand, but we are voting on a percentage going to the chamber, which then has implications for the TCP ratio and the general fund ratio, does it not?
Yes, sir. That would be whatever. Remember, we're only really playing with the general fund. The 3 cents that you get into the general fund is what you have the play on.
Right. I mean, potentially reducing that and increasing TCP if we were to lower the TCT threshold?
Yes, sir. Presently you allocate more than required to the chamber. The proposal, I think, was to lower it. Currently 60. 58. So your proposal, as I understand the motion, is to lower it around 3%. And so that 3% would now go to the general fund. And how y'all allocate that would just be through your budget process.
Correct. Okay. We have a motion. Did it get a second? The motion was to table. Did we get a second on the table? No second on the table. I'm sorry. Okay, the table is gone because we got no second. Now,
we're back in discussion.
We're back in discussion.
Okay, so if we don't act on this, or do we not have an agreement with the chamber going into January?
You do not. One complicating factor is the legislator has recently created for lack of a better term, a dispute process where the terms change with your DMO from year to year. I've not been involved with that procedure yet, but if we don't approve one, it would implicate that. That doesn't mean you can't reach a deal later, but there are some rights and obligations that the parties have between us and the chamber that could be implemented. I think we've previously carried over before we approved into a year, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but there's a very unique portion of this law that I would argue wasn't necessarily made for this situation. It was made probably for bigger jurisdictions, but there are some issues if we don't approve an agreement. But again, I wouldn't let that. Those are just what we have to deal with if the body doesn't approve the agreement.
Okay, if we were to go to 45-55 instead of the 58-48, we would recommend that, and it would go back to the chamber, if I'm understanding that right. And
yeah, it's an agreement, so the other side would have to agree between the two. But yeah, it takes two people have to agree to have an agreement.
That's the point. Okay, we'll go back to what we're still discussing. Do you want to alter it to what you said, or leave it like it is?
Stay at 55.
Okay, so that's make your motion.
So I would move that we authorize the chairman to sign this with, instead of 58% to the county or to the chamber, down to 55%.
So it'll be 55-45.
Correct.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Garrett, any further discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move forward then. This is an amending the motion now, and we're voting on the amended motion.
Right.
Okay, we'll vote verbally. How do you vote, District?
Aye.
District.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett.
Nay.
You vote against the amendment, and I'll vote aye. So the amendment passes. Now then, we go back to the original. Okay, now then, we now vote on the amended motion. We can do that electronically. Commissioner Garrett?
Nay.
And I will vote aye. So the amended motion carries. The way it is District 1, let me see if I can get my vote up there. Yeah, my computer did work. Chairman votes aye. Commissioner McElhaney, aye. Commissioner Garrett, nay. Commissioner Wooden, yay. So the motion carries, and we will submit that back to the chamber. Moving right along, County Manager, do you have a report?
Just a couple things. So the guardrail on Parks Mill is underway. They are doing some of the site work preparation. The materials are up there. And the only other thing I have is the last meeting, Mr. Vargo went to great lengths to talk about what the Planning and Zoning Department did with respect to his property. I am providing a 20-plus minute conversation that'll be online tomorrow that shows that Mr. Vargo was told numerous times to get a design professional. He took it upon himself to do some of these repairs. And outside of what was required, the planning and development staff was very courteous, kind, and forthcoming with the request to get a design professional to put type C silt fence in, what he had to do, and why he had to do it. So that'll be available online tomorrow. That's all I have, sir.
County Attorney?
No report.
We'll go to District 1.
Yes, so just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Be careful as you travel. Spend some time with your family and tell them that you love them, because you just never know. Thank you.
Commissioner Garrett.
Yes, two quick things. Just to highlight the upcoming Butler Baker Alumni Project, the former African American school in East Eatonton is having their Christmas Bazaar on December 20th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. All kinds of fun activities, and they would much appreciate any donations of toys, gifts to hand out to neighborhood children. And second item, I just want to say how much I appreciate being able to dial in remotely to the meeting. I was able to hear everything, and it's great what technology can do. And echo Commissioner McElhaney's season's greetings and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Wooten?
I just want everybody to have a good Christmas and New Year's, and y'all be careful, be safe, and just take care of yourself. Thank y'all.
And I want to say thank you to the commissioners, especially Commissioner Garrett, who is actually over in London, England. And thank you guys for the hard work you've put in, the time and the effort. I appreciate it. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and remind you that Jesus is the reason for the season. Thank you very much, and I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote electronically. Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
The voting is complete. Districts 1, 2, and 4 vote aye. This concludes the business of the regular business meeting, and I declare this meeting adjourned.